Hello everyone, this is Naresh IAS Academy digital platform for the IAS Mains exam. Today we will analyze the next question and its answer. As you know, we are running a answer writing session first on GS paper 1 for the IAS Mains exam. Already I have discussed 3 questions and their answer analysis. This is the fourth question and it has been asked by UPSC in GS paper 1 from the medieval Indian history IAS Mains exam 2021. So many students sending continuously answers and we are selecting the answers, and this is one of the answers sent by a student and we have typed the answer and this is displaying on the board. Okay. So first we will discuss or read the answer of that candidate and then we will evaluate this. And as you know, I have already discussed the GS paper 1 and GS paper 2 for the IAS Mains exam completely according to syllabus on YouTube channel. So definitely personally I want to suggest you must watch or listen these videos. Definitely I ensure you 90% of your preparation you may cover through these videos, and for the remaining part you must contact to our website and you may contact for the offline classes, and we provide each general studies question paper within the 20 days. If you have the history as the optional subject, then you must contact for this. The question is evaluating the nature of Bhakti literature and its contribution to the Indian culture. As I have suggested in the previous videos that what is the time management and what is the disciplines of the answer writing. So then you must write your answer within the 150 words. It means you have to write answer within the 6 minutes and the maximum marks are the 10. Okay. Then first I will start to read the answer. Bhakti literature refers to literature written by Bhakti saints in medieval Indian history. Chief among these saints Shankaracharya, Ramanuj, Ramanand, Kabirdas, Guru Nanak, Dadu Dayal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Mirabai. Main features of Bhakti literature are expressing faith and love towards God, emphasis on universal equality, opposing caste and caste-based discrimination, to support quality and social justice for women, emphasis on simple life in place of religious rituals. Bhakti literature infused new energy and faith in Indian culture, preaching in regional languages instead of elite language like the Sanskrit, and enriching the tradition and the lifestyle of folk life. Bhakti literature influenced the style of idol and temple construction under architecture and presentation of folk life in paintings. Thus, Bhakti literature was undoubtedly successful in maintaining the continuity of Indian culture under Muslim rule. Okay, this is the answer of that student, and now you have see the answer and you have also listened the answer. So, you can evaluate what is the weightage of answer, how many marks examiner should be provided to that candidate. Definitely the students have tried to touch the words of the questions in his answer, but the answer have the average quality. We cannot say this is a good answer, and through the average answer or average marking, it is too difficult to clear the exam. Simply the IAS exam is a fighting among the excellent, because this is the topmost service of the country. So always we have to write answer above the average. Then the examiner may provide maximum 4 marks out of 10 to that candidate. He deserves for the 4 marks. But this is not justiciable for any candidate, and it is too difficult to ensure oneself and to anticipating for his selection. Now how can we obtain the maximum marks, and what are the drawbacks of the answer? Firstly, as I am again suggesting you, you must read the question and highlight the words of the questions, and you should try to interrelate with them. So mainly there are two parts of the question: nature of Bhakti literature, or second is the contribution of Bhakti literature into the Indian culture. Simply, or now you have to interrelate them. The Bhakti literature, its contribution in the Indian culture, straightforward. So firstly, as he have stated in the first para, which you can say introductory part. In the introductory part, I have found there is no time period or timelines. How can an ordinary person judge what was the period of the Bhakti saint or Bhakti literature? It is not clear. So simply it may be a doubtful for any ordinary person. So then first the candidate must write Bhakti literature, the literature written by the Bhakti saint during 7th to 17th century in the regional or the vernacular languages, and these are the important Bhakti saint. Okay, so then when we will include the timeline, so definitely it increase the quality of your answer, which is absent in this answer. Second, you have to explain the nature of Bhakti literature. So then I think, or I can suppose, the candidate may not have a complete knowledge about the term nature of Bhakti literature, because as he have mentioned the characteristics of the Bhakti movement, but the question is asking the nature of Bhakti literature. So definitely you must write, there are the following types of nature of the Bhakti literature are seen. First, most of the Bhakti saints in their literature try to explain the Sagun and Nirgun concept of God. The Nirgun and the Sagun concept of God was the prominent nature of Bhakti literature, and you must all define what do you mean by the Nirgun concept of God and the Sagun concept of God, and also mention some Bhakti saint in the Nirgun tradition like Kabir Das, Guru Nanak, Dadu Dayal, and the Sagun saint Mirabai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ballabhacharya. Okay, the first nature, the Bhakti literature mainly surrounding the Nirgun and the Sagun concept. Second, Bhakti literature also explain the religious and secular characters of the society and the life of the Indian peoples. So then religious and secular nature of the Bhakti literature. For example, Dadu Dayal in his preaching never used the specific name for the God, just like Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva. He is simply preaching about a Nirgun or the formless God. So this is a secular concept of God. Dadu Dayal is not binding himself within any religion or surrounding any particular god. And at the same we can see in the case of Kabir Das, okay. And while the other hand there are some Sagun saint, they are particularly preaching the characters of that god, like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the staunch supporter or followers of Lord Krishna. Mirabai also followers of the Lord Krishna. So if you are stating about the Lord Krishna, then definitely he is the god of the Hindu Sanatan culture. So this is a religious nature of the Bhakti literature. Third is the Bhakti literature was universal and it was available to all peoples, and there was no geographical boundaries over the concept of God. Then Bhakti saint through the preachings, they emphasize over the universalism and presence of God in every part of the world or everywhere, and it is easily available to all the peoples of religion, caste and the different societies. So this was the broad nature of the Bhakti literature. So you must write your answer in this way, and the next para you must explain the contribution of Bhakti literature into the Indian culture. So then you should write the Bhakti literature enlarge the dimension of Indian culture, infusing the preachings in vernacular or regional languages. So then it enlarged the linguistic basis of Indian culture. Before this, Indian culture mainly surrounding within the Sanskrit language. Secondly, some Bhakti saint did the important work for the Hindu religion, like the Shankaracharya, who established the 4 pilgrimage site, Badrinath, Dwarka in Gujarat, Jagannath Puri, Odisha, Rameswaram, okay. And this was the integration of spirituality within the Indian territory. And definitely the Bhakti literature through the Bhakti saint tried to influence the architecture of the Indian culture, and later on so many buildings were constructed on that pattern. So it slightly influenced the architecture styles of temple, and also they influenced the statue or the idol worships, and also later on paintings was quite influenced. In the paintings, the themes or values of these Bhakti saint or Bhakti literature were given the priority, and the Bhakti literature emphasized over the folk literature and the folk dancing style, the folk singing style and the folk musical instruments. They were sometimes used by the Bhakti saint. So definitely they enlarge the musical aspect, dancing pattern and the singing styles, and now they are still continuing in the Indian culture. Or lastly, Bhakti saint provided the philosophy of social harmony and celebration of the different saints. Then nowadays each community or sect celebrate or their birthday or their Nirvana day, the day of the enlightenment of that saint, and this is continuing in our the Indian cultures. Then these in this way you should try to explain the contribution of Bhakti literature into the Indian culture. Then it may be a correct answer or answer between the lines, then you may hope for the maximum marks up to the 7 marks. And definitely you should try to obtain more than 50% marks, because below the 50% this is quite difficult to clear the exam. Okay, then definitely again I am personally suggesting you per day you should try to practice answer for the one question about 200 or 250 words daily, no gap, no absent. Okay, thank you.